Nature's lazy compost, the easiest way to grow black soil without lifting a finger. Every gardener dreams of that rich, dark, crumbly soil, the kind that smells alive and practically grows food by itself. The good news? You don't need to shovel, turn, or stir a compost pile for months to get it. In fact, nature already perfected a lazy compost system long before anyone built a bin. It's quiet, effortless, and endlessly regenerative. And it's the secret behind forests that never need fertilizer. This method goes by many names: trench composting, sheet mulching, or in-place composting. But the principle is the same. Instead of making compost somewhere else and hauling it back later, you let it happen right in your garden bed. Why lazy compost works better than traditional piles. Traditional composting burns through organic matter fast because it's open, aerated and hot. While that makes quick compost, it also loses up to half the carbon and nitrogen as gases. In contrast, lazy composting works slowly under the soil surface, where oxygen levels are lower and moisture stays steady. That slower breakdown locks more carbon into humus, the black, spongy material that gives fertile soil its structure. It also keeps microbial populations stable. Instead of the boom and bust cycles of a hot compost pile, you get a steady underground factory of fungi, bacteria, and worms. The result? Soil that gets darker, softer, and more alive each season, with zero turning, zero odor, and zero wasted effort. The trench composting method. So, here's the simplest way to start. Just dig a narrow trench between rows or in unused parts of your bed, about 8 to 10 inches deep. Fill it with kitchen scraps, weeds, make sure they're seed-free, old leaves, and grass clippings. Then, just cover it completely with soil. That's it. Below the surface, microbes and earthworms move in immediately. The buried organic matter becomes food for decomposers and, moisture magnets for roots. Within a few weeks, you'll notice the soil above the trench feels cooler, richer, and honestly, much easier to work. Over time, you can rotate where you trench, turning your entire garden into a patchwork of slow composting microreactors. Sheet mulching, the forest floor approach. If you don't want to dig at all, try sheet mulching, also called lasagna gardening. It mimics the natural way forests build soil layer upon layer of decaying organic matter left to break down in place. Start by laying cardboard or thick paper over weedy soil to block sunlight and kill weeds. Then pile on alternating layers of carbon, like straw or dry leaves, and nitrogen, such as kitchen scraps, green clippings, or manure. Keep it moist, but not soggy. Over time, earthworms will tunnel up and down, pulling this material into the soil and mixing it naturally. Within a season, what looked like garden debris transforms into deep, dark humus that smells just like the forest floor. Microbial activation. Let the soil life do the work. Lazy compost works because it doesn't fight nature's pace. Instead, it feeds the microbes in place, and they do the heavy lifting. You can boost their performance with small doses of microbial activators like, diluted molasses water, just a teaspoon per gallon, to feed beneficial bacteria. Or maybe a splash of fermented plant juice, often called FPJ, or compost tea to introduce microbial diversity. And don't forget, a handful of mature compost sprinkled on top helps inoculate fresh material. These tiny boosts wake up the soil biology and speed up decomposition without overheating or drying out, which is pretty handy if you ask me. After just one season of lazy composting, you'll start to notice your soil changing texture. It becomes darker, looser, and honestly, just so much easier to crumble in your hands. By year 2, you really won't even recognize it. Water retention gets so much better, earthworm activity absolutely skyrockets, and your plants will be able to root much deeper than before. This system doesn't just recycle waste, it actually builds living soil structure. And because the whole process happens below the surface, there's no odor, no turning, and you won't have any trouble with pests. Busy gardeners rejoice. You don't need machines, bins, or, back-breaking labor to create fertile soil. Just feed the earth and let nature do the work quietly beneath your feet. This lazy compost is how ecosystems have thrived for millions of years, and it's still the most sustainable way to garden today. So skip the shovel. Bury your scraps, layer your mulch, and let time do what it does best. Turn waste into living black gold.